Well, thank you for your ballot, good citizen. I'll just run that through our vote counting software. Scan your marks, change this T to a B, dot the I, and it's gone.
What's up, guys? It's Benny. The single worst night of my life professionally was the 2020 election night results that I was watching from inside of the Donald Trump election night victory party. This was in the Trump Hotel in Washington, D.C., his official party held just down the street from the White House. And this, ladies and gentlemen, was the result that sent a chill through the room when Joe Biden stunningly was called as the victor in Arizona.
Big get for the Biden campaign. It's also signals that it's a good night for Mark Kelly, the Democratic Senate candidate against Martha McSally there. But Biden picking up Arizona changes the math, and it is the first of the night that goes into the column of somebody else's bucket that they thought last time was going to hold.
Kind of amazing here. You can see 53-45. Fox News calling it for Joe Biden when actually the final result was 49-49. You ever checked in on these? And Joe Biden won by like 1,000 votes. Won, right, by 1,000 votes in Arizona. What makes even less sense is not only that they would call it with all of the wrong numbers and all the wrong tabulation, but that when President Trump ran 4 years later, he won in a landslide. Isn't that fascinating? Donald Trump winning by 8 points here. 8 points versus Kamala Harris. And not particularly close. Hundreds of thousands of votes more for President Trump. An absolute blowout, just like the rest of the election. So many people would say this is a fair election. And so it like causes a lot of people to say, like, well, wait a second, what was happening back there? Well, amazingly, something big has happened in Arizona. President Trump has announced that the FBI has secretly seized election records from Arizona's largest county, the Maricopa County. This would be the county that was so strange with its tabulation, with Dominion voting machines, and with the way that they went about their business. And here we go. The FBI expanding its criminal probe into suspected election irregularities, secretly obtaining large tranche of voting records in Arizona, largest county. Recent grand jury subpoena. Multiple people familiar with the probe told Just the News. The sources who spoke on the condition of anonymity because the secrecy of the grand jury probe said the FBI are receiving terabytes of electronic data from Maricopa County, and after a month from when they seized the warehouses in Fulton County, Georgia. Oh my. After the Atlanta raid. The subpoena comes 5 years after the GOP-led Arizona State Senate conducted a lengthy investigation in 2020 and concluded there were significant irregularities. On Monday, Arizona State President Ren Peterson confirmed his body received a subpoena for the 2020 election results. Late last night, I received and compiled a federal grand jury subpoena for records the Arizona State Senate's 2020 audit. The FBI has the record. People familiar with the FBI investigation told Just the News that the Bureau has received data under a subpoena for multiple elections, 2020 and 2024. Most recently, the Bureau was alerted to the report filed by Republicans and Democratic election observers who believe they observed irregularities in the election. So, whoa. You can see the internet popping off on this one. Dominoes are falling. Of course, this comes directly after, and here is the Senate president in Arizona. This comes directly after the raid this is the Maricopa County, the Fulton County, Georgia raid. President Trump is 100% correct. Late last week, I received and complied with a federal grand jury records related to the state Senate's audit. The FBI has the records. Any other report is fake news. This is like, well, 100% official. Now this dude is the president, the Senate president in Arizona. So he's a legit guy. Again, this comes at the heels of the FBI executing a search warrant in Fulton County For 6 years, the public still has not been able to inspect hundreds of thousands of ballots. A judge ordered the ballots inspected, and the Trump team pulled up. Tulsi Gabbard was on site specifically at President Trump's request. Gabbard outlines election security assessment, presence, Fulton County search. Why is it important that Tulsi is there?
We've got a long list of things that we're investigating. We have the best of the best going after this. Election integrity being one of them. We have evidence of how these electronic voting systems have been vulnerable to hackers for a very long time and vulnerable to exploitation to manipulate the results of the votes being cast, which further drives forward your mandate to bring about paper ballots across the country so that voters can have faith in the integrity of our elections.
Wait a second. Tulsi Gabbard confirming that she was able to find out that election rigging machines actually changed the election totals, and this on the heels of Nicolas Maduro being black bagged by armed Delta Force members. I mean, is Nicolas Maduro giving up the ghost here? You know, all this election rigging technology is created in Venezuela. Like that's where the stuff comes from. Was it being run by our own CIA? I wouldn't put it past them. There will be a meltdown coming from Democrats real soon. Trump says FBI has seized Arizona's election records. Ladies and gentlemen, Georgia-like event with election officials. John Solomon says, Arizona State Senator, stay tuned, America. Look at this. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem will be in Phoenix, Arizona, at the heart of Maricopa County today, as she reportedly discusses election security and the Trump administration's fight over the voter data. Oh, my. Okay. Well, wait a second. If you're sending these level of Trump administrators to Maricopa County, you've clearly found something, just like with Georgia. Again, Trump personally ordered Tulsi Gabbard to be in Georgia to monitor what was happening. John Solomon, the FBI has decided that the election history of Maricopa County is problematic. They've seized all election results as the voting probe expands. Ladies and gentlemen, what again are we seeing? I really think that the Maduro thing was a ruse. I think they've snatched up Maduro because he's going to sing like a canary. They grabbed his wife for leverage. I think that's what's actually happening here. And as President Trump has said before, we got them. We actually literally caught them. This is something that should give you chills. Donald Trump at the World Economic Forum saying, no, you don't understand. We got them. We caught them in their crimes. And you'll find out soon enough what's going to happen next.